Hello, my name is Michael Bazell, and I want to welcome you to this demo of the Untitled platform. Today's platform demo will include a few slides to set the stage, then we'll jump in. I'm here to explain how Untitled helps enterprises achieve complete client-side web security and data privacy compliance. The Untitled platform protects over 3 billion website visits every month and is used by over 250 of the world's leading brands to bridge the gap between data privacy and trust. Let's start by understanding the value of data today. Examples of brands doing an excellent job of personalizing experiences are all around us. Here are three that come to mind. Executing great personalization strategies are important and make a difference to the top and bottom line. Given how important data is to your personalization strategy, earning the customer's trust when it comes to data privacy and protection is critical. This is easier said than done. And personalization requires customer-specific data and customers' willingness to provide and grant access to their personal data, which all stems from earning and keeping their trust. And this is where we are going to turn to next. Overall, companies aren't disclosing in a consumer-friendly way how personal information is used. There's a major lack of understanding by customers as to how their personal information gets used, which is not a step in the direction of building customer trust. Last year, Gartner observed that customer dissatisfaction, erosion of trust, and privacy invasion were extending into all interactions between customers, organizations, and devices. This is a major decline in trust from a poll taken 5 years earlier. By taking steps to build trust with customers, organizations earn greater access to customer data, which leads to more engaged and profitable personalized web experiences. So let me now show you how customers use the Untitled platform to bridge this gap by protecting what customers care about most. I'll touch on capabilities across these 4 areas. Transparency and control with a branded UX consent experience and self-service UI, to name a few. Privacy promise with consent enforcement and enabling you to be GDPR and CCPA compliant. Client-side data protection from threats such as web skimming and form jacking, and the ability to monitor all data, block, and report. And finally, journey performance and extending user consent selections across web and mobile. The power of Untitled can be deployed to your website in a few simple steps. First, install one line of code into the head of the website. Create a gateway and configure its options per your organizational requirements. And then publish that gateway. Now we'll log into the self-service UI and take a tour of the platform to explain the capabilities and options that allow for enterprises within any vertical to maintain the highest standards of client-side web security and privacy compliance. Once I've authenticated, I'll be on the main platform dashboard and can easily navigate by clicking the grid icon and selecting privacy. The entire UI is very user-friendly with consistent menu options on the left-hand side which aid in quick and efficient navigation. Either select Create New Gateway or select an existing gateway with the vertical ellipse icon on the far right. Notice that same consistent navigation on the left-hand side menu. To begin gateway configuration, use the Settings menu to select high-level options such as the ability to passively observe all web request traffic or actively block domains not included on the whitelist. Toggle on reporting, and configure the gateway using the Allow or Block List approach for blocking domains. As with most areas of the platform, you'll need to save those selections at the bottom. The list manager is where the allow list domains are curated and is the basis for whether a domain is allowed or blocked on your website. Begin to auto-populate the domains list by publishing the gateway in observe mode. Add new domains as needed when your organization is onboarding new tag vendors. Use easy drag and drop functionality to move a domain between buckets. The list manager is broken into three main areas: domains that need to be categorized, always allowed or never allowed, or added to a consent category for visitor opt-in, opt-out. Create new consent categories as needed based on the type of tags that will reside within them. Be sure to save all changes. The security panel gives added flexibility to individually toggle checks against the allow or block list. These include tag protection, require secure protocol, CSS, and clickjack protection based on your organizational requirements and objectives. Create environments to further customize how privacy runs based on requirements. Using environments, gateway elements can be configured to meet virtually any use case, making it the perfect solution for large organizations. Give it a name and specify the language and country for context. Set conditions for the environment to run using logic based on criteria such as URL, cookie, or other JavaScript variables. With user consent and translations, the consent modal details can be customized for a tailored experience matching your brand. Align the banner, consent modal, and CCPA copy to match your company's voice and tone. Create localized language versions for visitors in all countries by configuring each environment version of the consent modal. Harness the power of data governance by environment or globally for complete client-side data management. Protect PII or other defined data patterns. Check request body, base64 encoded strings against the allow list. Fully block, mask with a special character, or redact specified data patterns from leaving the page. Define a special list of domains that is allowed to receive data within those defined patterns for special circumstances. While the Untitled platform allows for maximum customization to fit your marketing security needs, there are always edge cases that don't fit the mold. In those cases, use custom code, CSS, and consent cookies to configure elements that fall outside of the available configuration options. We'll pivot now away from the gateways section and look into reporting. Once a gateway is published, platform users can begin to review reporting in several key areas, including the consent report, observe or block report, and the CCPA report. Let's review a few of these reports to show the options. Within all the reports, top-level filtering can be set to define a date range and the publish path. The report will then reflect these filters. Here in the consent report, the visuals show helpful stats on opt-ins, opt-outs, and the various elements the site visitor interacted with, such as the banner viewed, do not sell, or delete my data requests, consent by category, or consent by environment. With any of these visuals, you can expand the tile for a larger view and export the underlying data for further analysis or presentation. Finally, let's look at the block report. Within this report, the same top-level filtering applies, as well as expanded options for this report specifically to apply more filters depending on the view required, such as by environment or more granular time. Review helpful visuals illustrating percentage of top blocked traffic and block tag trend report over time. Dive into greater detail below to review the URLs of your website where blocked requests occurred, as well as top blocked domains. Inspect the reasons why tags or domains were blocked, such as not being on the allow list or not having secure protocol. And in cases where data governance is configured, see the actual data patterns that were blocked, as well as those patterns by domain. Now I'd like to switch gears and review a few websites using Untitled and show you some of the ways the platform configurations are presented to the user and how they work to achieve web security and data privacy. At Untitled, we take full advantage of our own tools to stay web secure and compliant with all regulations for GDPR, CCPA, and other emerging legislation. Here is an example of the banner and consent modal being used to offer the visitor the choice to opt in or out of digital tracking on the website. As you can see, this version is styled to match the look and feel of the site. Insighten is unique in that when visitors interact with the consent modal to choose their tracking preference to opt out of a category, the platform will then enforce those selections by blocking tags within that category. Next, we'll jump to a demo site and I'll show you what's under the hood. Here is a demo site to show some of the functionality of the consent modal, blocking of opt-outs, malicious code injection, and form jacking. On this version, the banner and modal appear with much different styling than that of the Insighten website. First, let's look at how the consent modal selections are honored by blocking the tags in the Analytics category. When I load the page, it's clear Google Analytics does fire. Then, by opening the modal and choosing to opt out of the Analytics category, when I reload the page, Google Analytics no longer fires. Next, let's simulate the injection of malicious code by using JavaScript I created to grab all the data a user enters in a checkout form and then send it to a demonstration hacker destination. What's important to note here is that any and all JavaScript you include on a page, whether valid or malicious, typically has full access to the data on that page. As I fire the code in the browser console for my website without Insighten Web Security, a data breach is simulated as the request is successfully made to send sensitive data on the page to a hacker's domain. To remove this risk, as shown in our UI tour in the List Manager, the Allow list can be configured to include only approved domains, and once those options have been saved, simply publish the gateway to begin blocking any and all of these malicious attacks. Back on the demo site, when this injection is attempted again, the request is blocked and an event is logged. The final injection vulnerability that we will review is ad injection. On retail websites with e-commerce, malicious code can be injected to present visitors with an ad or something else on the page that can be clicked. In some cases, these can simply direct them to a site that continues to appear like the site they've been on, though in reality it's a different and malicious domain. In this case, while we don't show the user navigating to a mock website, we see they are sent to a different domain that could be styled to deceive them and steal sensitive data. Without the Allow list in place, this is approved. Let's run the simulated ad injection again, but this time with Insighten enforcing the Allow list, which does not include our demo hacker domain. As you can see, the code is injected and the ad even still shows up at the bottom of the page, though now the code is blocked from sending the user to the malicious domain, and an event is logged in reporting. The final capability I would like to demonstrate is the ability for user consent selections to extend across device. In this scenario, the user first visits a retail website and logs in, and then clicks the banner to open the modal and choose the options for which types of tags they are comfortable being tracked. In our demo, the user chooses to opt out of the advertising category as they don't want to receive sidebar and display ads later on. They save those selections and continue shopping. Finding the perfect item, they decide they need to try it on for fit, so they head to the retail location, but they want to keep the digital experience close at hand by visiting the website on their mobile device. Next, we will show a mobile device, but keep in mind the prior consent selections the user made. Here on a mobile device, the user visits the same website, though before signing in, it's clear they are currently recognized as a new visitor, and we can see the consent selections are not reflecting their prior opt-out of advertising. Though, once they do authenticate, the prior selections are reflected for the user's experience just as it was on the web. This is all made possible with the use of the Insighten Consent Hub, which logs the user consent to the cloud. I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration of the Insighten platform. With the increasing importance of earning and keeping customer trust, security and privacy truly are at the forefront of the conversation. We are constantly developing products that will strive to prioritize client-side data privacy, website security, and user consent across experiences. Get in touch with us to learn more, and thank you again for watching.